In this last chapter of One Piece, finally Kizaru will have a big spotlight again, and this time, he will probably face Luffy, who is currently at the level of a Yonko. Introducing a great enemy for Kizaru. In today's video, we're going to talk about what Kizaru will do in Egghead. What could be the objective on this island? How could the confrontation between Kizaru and Luffy be? And what will be the outcome of this incredible battle that will happen in the next chapters? Guys, Kizaru is one of the most powerful admirals and the one who holds this position for much longer, demonstrating that even after long years, he is still a very competent and powerful admiral. Unlike his former comrades, Kizaru lacks the strong wills of Akainu and Aokiji. Kizaru always prioritized doing things the way he wanted, as long as he was able to complete his role as a marine. During the Marineford arc, Kizaru played a large role in taking on the pirates and even New Gate and his minions, proving to be a very tough obstacle. But even before Marineford, Kizaru already caused a lot of trouble for the Straw Hat Pirate, especially during the Sabayati arc. Kizaru went to the archipelago to capture the pirates who had injured a world noble. After having defeated some pirates of the worst generation, Kizaru saw the Straw Hats and focused all his efforts to take their lives, starting with Zavro, who was already weakened because of his confrontation with the pacifista. Kizaru had the opportunity to take Zavro's life, as no Straw Hats would be able to harm him because of his Logia fruit, making him practically invincible during that fight, until Silver's Rail arrived to confront Kizaru, managing to prevent Zavro from losing his life and giving the Straw Hats the opportunity to retreat from the confrontation while Kizaru confronted Rayla. After Kuma teleported the Straw Hats to safety, Rayla was captured by the Marines, giving the Straw Hats the opportunity to stay away from Kizaru for a long time until they managed to get stronger. During the Battle of Marineford, where Luffy was still without any training, Kizaru repeatedly hindered Luffy from being able to save his brother Ace. At one point in this battle, Kizaru even mocked Luffy's inability to save Ace, presenting himself as a rather annoying enemy. However, Luffy was not shaken by these offenses. With the help of his allies, Luffy little by little managed to advance in the middle of the combat to reach his brother. Kizaru kept Luffy away from his targets several times and even destroyed Ace's original handcuff key, further hindering the chances of being able to save Ace, being really a big obstacle in Luffy's way during the events of Marineford. Apparently, Kizaru has a great desire to be able to face Luffy. This is demonstrated during much of the Battle of Marineford, especially after Luffy uses his Haoshoku haki to knock out some marines nearby. Among the admirals, Kizaru was the most impressed by the fact that young pirate possessed one of the most powerful techniques, although he didn't know how to use it perfectly yet. Overall, Kizaru continued to pursue Luffy as long as he was in his range, first at the Sabayati archipelago and later at the Great Battle of Marineford, due to the demands made by the world nobles. Since Luffy was causing big problems not only for the world nobles, but also for Sakai Sifu, Marines, and enemy pirates, Luffy's fame and bounty increased in a very quick and unexpected way. During the great battle that took place in Wano, Kizaru asked Akainu to allow him to go personally to defeat the pirates that were there, mainly Luffy, who would be one of those responsible for starting this great confrontation against a Yonko. Even though Akainu wanted to send Kizaru to Wano with the intention of ending this great battle and capturing some important pirates, he did not allow the admiral to be. Akainu feared the strength of Wano's swordsmen and the great danger they pose worldwide. Then he could allow one of his most powerful marines to go to Wano and lose his life. Recently in the One Piece manga, more specifically in chapter 1069, we are following very important events. The Straw Hats finally managed to find the greatest scientist of them all, Vegapunk. However, it has been a somewhat turbulent encounter, since C-Zero has a big mission in Egghead, which consists of taking the life of Vegapunk and being able to collect the scientist's constructions. But since the Straw Hat Pirates are on the island, this becomes a little more difficult to accomplish, since this is one of the most dangerous crews in the world. Attacking them would be too risky for CP0. Normally, a C0 encounter with a Yonko wouldn't be a problem, as both couldn't come into conflict, as that would cause major problems for both sides. Mainly the CP0 that cannot attack a Yonko without authorization from its superiors. However, Luffy started an attack against Lucci, starting a conflict between the Straw Hat Pirates and C-Zero, which caused the Navy to be alerted of this event. But even before this conflict happened, Akainu already had a containment plan against this threat. He ordered Kizaru to go to Egghead to contain this situation, causing Luffy and Kizaru to meet again after so long. We don't know exactly how this encounter could happen since Luffy is currently fighting Lucci. Because Luffy is a Yonko, it is easily visible that he will be the winner of this confrontation against CO. Even though Lucci managed to get stronger because of the awakening of his Zoan fruit, he is still far inferior to Luffy's new power. Luffy managed to awaken his fruit that takes away all his physical limitations and even incredibly strengthened his haki during the Huan arc, making him Yonko level or even managing to even surpass the Yonko level. At the beginning of Luffy's confrontation against Lucci, we realized that Luffy was just observing the new power that the leader of CP0 had achieved with his awakening from his fruit, a fight in which it was just a warm-up, but with Lucci attacking Sentomaru, leaving him in a state where he could lose his life in a few moments, making Luffy very angry with Lucci, similar to the anger Luffy was feeling towards Kaido during his confrontation with Kaido, which will make Luffy use all his strength now to face Lucci, fighting him seriously to defeat him as soon as possible, giving Rob Lucci no chance to achieve his goals. So in this next chapter we will see Luffy defeating Lucci, but during this Luffy victory, Kizaru will interrupt the fight and face Luffy himself, resulting in an Admiral versus the newest Yonko showdown, a confrontation that will last for a few chapters because both characters are very powerful. During the battle at Marineford, we saw that Kizaru was able to face Newgate, although he was old and weakened because of age and several blows he received during combat. Luffy is currently not at his peak as he has incredible evolutionary capabilities that have yet to be demonstrated. Luffy awakened his power recently, so he still doesn't know how to properly use his awakened fruit. In this last chapter of One Piece, we saw that Luffy just activated his Gear 5 transformation and used only one technique using the elasticity and the new technique that he managed to acquire during this transformation. While the entire fight he used only his brute force and haki to confront Lucci. This fight against Lucci did not prove to be a great challenge yet for Luffy to be able to demonstrate new techniques of his awakened fruit, nor did it force him to overcome his limits in order to become stronger than his enemy, something that could happen in Luffy's fight against Kizaru. As we know, Kizaru is a very strong and skilled opponent, possessing one of the most powerful fruits in the One Piece universe, giving Kizaru incredible speed, the ability to increase the power of his blows, shooting lasers of light, and even giving Kizaru the ability to use a sword of light during combat, becoming a great challenge for Luffy to be able to demonstrate his new powers. It's hard to say who can win this confrontation because it's something unpredictable if it happens. We don't know how much Kizaru managed to evolve during the time skip and not even Luffy's full potential. There is a high possibility that Luffy and Kizaru will end this fight in a tie because of Kuma. Supposedly the revolutionary Kuma is an egghead, just waiting for the right moment to appear. With his fruit, Kuma can teleport an almost unlimited number of people, which will allow Kuma to be able to teleport his allies to safety, including Luffy, or will teleport Kizaru, throwing him away from Egghead, giving the Straw Hat Pirate and their allies the opportunity to get out of Egghead. Even if Kizaru possesses the Fruit of Light, it's likely he won't return to Egghead anymore because of his lazy personality, causing a tie between these two characters. But there is also the possibility that Luffy and Kizaru will fight until their enemy is defeated, a difficult event to happen since it is possibly not the time for an extremely strong admiral to be defeated. So that means that only in the future will a real conflict between Luffy and Kizaru, where they will fight with all their power without any other obstacle getting in the way of their final confrontation, resulting in one of the greatest fights in One Piece.